Tekashi 6ix9ine, aka Mr. No L's, aka don't take not even one L, has signed or re-signed with his record label 10K Projects while sitting down during the bid. $10 million cash. Ain't no gyro, ain't no check, cash. And this is what people always misunderstood. Everyone out there who was saying, oh man, he needs to hold the bid. He shouldn't snitch. He's got money to count, yeah. All these other dudes weren't doing nothing. Shotty weren't doing squat. They're where they need to be. All the other people who was kidnapping and extorting and whatnot, they're where they need to be. They were unproductive citizens. They were criminals, hardened criminals. They ain't got no business on the street. Tekashi, Mr. Noels, he got music to make. He got paper to count. And the fact that bottom line, he was doing what he's always doing. He might have made out to be a gangster. He ain't no gangster, and they should have known that. So don't no one get twisted. There's people who are sour that Tekashi snitched, but the bottom line is the responsibility holds with the so-called 9 trays who are meant to, yeah man, I'm a 9 tray blood. The responsibility is with them OGs bringing in a guy with blonde, pink, purple hair and letting him run things and giving them orders. If Tekashi weren't giving them orders, if Tekashi weren't involved in their business, he couldn't snitch on no one. These big, hardback 9 tray bloods should have known better, and the fact they didn't, now they've earned. Listen, you don't go 9 times out of 10. Of course, people are wrongly incarcerated, but 9 times out of 10, you don't go jail by chance. Air just don't blow you to jail. If you get to jail, you've earned it. Shotty, all the other people who've been sent down have earned their way to jail. Tekashi, he's got money to count, and he already told everyone he ain't planning on taking no L's. And with that in mind, the 9 trade bloods, they should have been thinking, wait there a minute, we know Tekashi ain't taking no L's. We know he's ruthless. They should have realised that and thought, you know what, I'm keeping this guy's a liability. I'm keeping him nowhere near me. But they didn't. They brought him in and they started doing all this foolishness, kidnapping him, extorting him. And now they're sorry. Meanwhile, Tekashi signing 8-9 figure deals whilst he's sitting down. And I've heard from an exclusive source that Tekashi, the judge will sentence Tekashi on the 18th of December. However, the fact this news about the record deals come out, it's important for a number of reasons, because we're expecting, I've heard from a source that Tekashi is likely going to be released with time served on the 18th. That's why this record, listen, people don't sign record deals. You don't sign a record deal 2 months if you're going to get 47 years. That makes sense. Tekashi's, he could get up to 47 years, but my point is, people don't sign $10 million deals if they're actually going to do a 47-year term. In fact, people don't sign $10 million deals if they're going to do any time. Tekashi, the king, Mr. Noels, is going to be back on road on the 18th of December. And you best believe he's coming with 2 hot albums. One in Spanish, one in English. That's what the TMZ article reads. So if anyone who's sour, and Tekashi's already told you, listen, when he comes out, everyone will fall into line. Bottom line. Because it makes me laugh because everyone sits there and laughs at Tekashi being a snitch. But number one, 99% of the people laughing have never spent a day in jail. That's the first thing. I haven't either, but that's why I ain't laughing about it, because I ain't never been there. And so 99% of the people laughing about it, they ain't never spent a day in jail. The other thing, the other 1% of people who have been in jail, they might have, if it's their opinion, fair enough. But trust me, within them 1%, half of them are snitches anyway. Yeah? So in reality, there's only probably half of 1% of people who actually have a right. Anyone who's been to jail and didn't snitch, you have a right to criticise Tekashi. No problem doing that. But for 99.5% of the population, we can't say nothing because we've never been there. And more importantly, everyone having a dig at Tekashi, you got to realise, number one, he's got money to count. Number two, look at him. You shouldn't. The 9 trade bloods, the so-called big OGs, should have known he weren't about it. And the fact they didn't, that's their business, 100%. And anyway, besides that, people have very, very short memories. What about Frank Lucas? What about Snoop Dogg the snitch? Frank Lucas the snitch? Alpo the snitch? I've got the other guy from Washington. There's another big crack dealer who recently has been trying to get out. He's another massive snitch. They're all over the shop. All of them doing it. And these are actual hardened, so-called... These people actually, at the time, went around as true gangsters. They've all snitched and all flopped and turned over. Turned what we call stateside. Yeah? Representing the state, bottom line. So where's all the... Why ain't Snoop laughing and putting out memes and whatnot about them man there? Who they bear in mind as well, we all knew Tekashi weren't no hardened gangster. Yeah, it didn't take a rocket scientist to work that one out. But my point is, where's all the memes for all the real so-called gangsters who turned out snitching? That's what makes me laugh. You'll see people today putting things out. I forgot to know his name, from Washington. Oh, that's it. You got two actually. You got two, in fact. You got Rayful Edmonds from DC, Washington. His one recently. He's been down for about 30 years, but still, the fact of the matter is, you'll have people out here saying free this guy, free that guy. Them man signed up for it. Rayful Edmonds, he signed up for it. That was meant to be him. He was meant to be the full thug life. But now they want to talk about, he did this, he did that. I mean, I want to see the memes for all the hardened gangsters. That's what I want to start seeing. Never mind Tekashi. The joke's up on Tekashi, yeah? Anyone who thought he was actually going to do some time, that's your business. You obviously don't know how things go. Bottom line, listen. Let me finish this video anyway. Tekashi, the king, Mr. No L's will be back shortly. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. Tekashi coming back, and he's going to come back and he's going to change the game. The whole game is going to be hot. It's what people don't understand. The game was... People can sit there and lie and try and fight it. When Tekashi was about, the game was hot. The game was thriving. Tekashi was making and breaking careers. No doubt. And that's how it's going to... When he comes back December 18th, that's how it's going to be again. 100%. That's exactly how it's going to be. Fresh $10 million deal. He's going to rock out. And that's another thing. Before I go, last thing. People have been saying, oh man, Tekashi better have security. He's going to need security because, yeah, the 9 Treys ain't going to do squat. Yeah? They are what's the word? They are an ungainly organisation. They are sloppy. They couldn't organise squat. Do you understand that? Think of all the proper organisations out there. The Italians, the Mexicans and whatnot. Maybe not so the Mexicans actually do their job, to be fair. But in America, it's a lot harder. In Mexico, it's a war zone down there. But in America, it's a lot harder. Snitches don't get got these days. I've heard from, I don't personally live in America, I live in Britain, but I've heard in America, snitches get out of jail and nothing happen to them ever. Yeah? Any people who listen to this video who live in the hood, apparently I've heard that there's loads of snitches everywhere that don't get got no more because people ain't really about their business. People ain't really about it anymore. All the morals, all the so-called morals went out the windows in about the 60s or 70s. The minute the feds came along, that's what really changed it. What really changed morals was the feds. What really changed morals was the racketeering and conspiracy charges, because at that point people was getting 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Before the racketeering stuff started coming along, you could get away with 3 or 4 years. Most people can do 3 or 4 years. What people can't do is knowing they're never coming out. That's what really changed the game. And to be honest, I can't blame them. When you're looking at 40 years, who really wants to do that? No one does. That's why you've got Mel Murder, a so-called OG, begging and pleading the judge to be let out, to be given leniency, begging for mercy. That's why. Yeah? No doubt. And these are the OGs. Never mind Tekashi. Yeah? But like I said, these dudes ain't going to do squat. The 9 Treys ain't going to do squat. Tekashi will be about. Tekashi don't need no security. He don't, like I said, he don't take no L's. He ain't going to take no L's now. And he ain't took no L's before. He sat down, listen, I've spoken to people within Tekashi's team. They told me, listen, Tekashi sat down for a year. He needed a break anyway. Yeah? The game was too hot. Do you understand how hot the game was? YouTube, he shut down the YouTube game. Wherever he went, got shut down. The game was way too hot. He sat down for a year, had a rest, recuperated his energy, and he's going to come back again December 18th, no doubt. And nothing the 9 Treys can do about it. The 9 Treys won't do squat because the 9 Treys are in jail looking. And let's get something straight as well. If the 9 Treys do try to do anything, guess what? They'll be doing 50 years as well. They'll be hanging there with all the other people on the case. Trust me. Let this be a lesson to any 9 Trey blood out there. Do not try Tekashi. You are going to end up with a 50-year bid, a 50 to life bid. Bottom line. If you haven't learnt that lesson, go ahead. Try. I dare. In fact, I dare any 9 trade bloods out there. I dare you. Try and hand an L to Tekashi. See what happens to you. But don't. What I will say is, don't be crying like Mel Murder. Don't be crying like Shotty when you end up getting a 15, 20, 30, 50-year bid. That's no good. You need to be thinking about your actions now before you do any stupidness.